Kerbal Space Program has launched or released a new update. The new version, 0.20, has all kinds of exciting things like chairs and flags. It's a huge update. So here's a video of me playing around with some of the things that they added to the game. Here I am landing on Minmus, a big ass rocket ship with some of the new rovers that you can build. See, there's a chair, an actual seat for the pilot to, or the driver to sit in the rover and drive the rover around. Also, new rover wheels. So I was able to build these kick-ass rovers. That's what happens if you hit the brakes, by the way, when you're going at full speed. The rovers that I built were not super. See, there he is in his chair, steering his rover. I love that. That's great. The rovers that I built are not super stable. They tended to flip over a lot, like that. So, but I don't think that's any fault of the new rover wheels or the chair, the driver's seat for the rovers. It's probably a combination of my designing rovers not being great. I think one of the wheels is off center, and just driving in low gravity is hard. This is a rover, quote unquote, that I had built before this patch, and there were no chairs and no rover wheels. So you can see, I thought that they could stand on those little wings, those little platforms, but they couldn't. They'd fall right off. I wanted it to be a bus. Although, see, this guy did. I did find out that if you set them up with something behind them, they work, but then it slows way down. So the chairs will let me build an actual bus. Now, this is a problem I had with my rovers. This one just flew into the air for no reason. Nobody was driving it at the time. It wasn't moving. I was just switching between people to control, and it just took off all by itself. So if I could harness that power, I could build a rocket ship that used no fuel, that just used the fuel of things, rovers spontaneously bursting into the air. But here's another new feature aside from all the rover stuff: flags. I love the flags. You get to set up a plaque and you get to name the area. So with these flags, you can, and it shows up on the map, Minmus Base. If that's what you've named the site, it shows up as Minmus Base on the map. So it's wonderful. So then I decided I should get a bunch of my Kerbals on Minmus out, and they should all go salute the flag or something. And they were in a hurry. They were in a hurry to see the exciting new flag. So, you know, they this is what happens when you rush in low gravity with jetpacks. Um, that guy landed better. But yeah, I've actually put quite a lot of stuff on Minmus by now. I've flown a lot of landing modules and spaceships and stuff to Minmus. So I had quite a collection. Oops. See, that guy was in too big a hurry. So I had quite a collection, quite a population of colonists on Minmus to come look at the flag. Now right here is a rover that somebody else made. No, probably not. I think this rover was made by the same people who made the home pack, and their rover works much better than mine did. But it doesn't have an outside seat like mine does. Mine now has a proper rover where you can ride on the outside. And here, yeah, that that pre-0.20 patch rover that I tried to build it didn't work too well. It works okay for one person, but and it also doubles as a rocket ship. It kind of flew over here on its own and then it landed. And that was kind of a tall ship. I should probably have built a ladder. I had problems with my rovers all over the place, like this. Sometimes when I would detach them, they would just explode. And there's this one that just explodes. So I came with 3 rovers. I named that rocket ship the Triton because it had 3 cargo slots, and I came with 3 rovers, and 2 of them just spontaneously exploded, and the one flipped over upside down when it jumped in the air for no reason. So I don't know what's going on. I need to play with designing rovers better. But look at the flag and all those Kerbals, my whole colony of Kerbals saluting the Gadget Hovel flag. Oh, flags are cool. I like them. Now, this is the other thing. They added a new component, the cupola. Cupola. It is a spaceship component. It acts as a cockpit. You can, if you put a cupola on your spaceship, it will be filled with a Kerbal to pilot it. And it's also just a place for Kerbals to go to look out the window. Basically, the cupola has big bay windows is the idea. So that's why I'm attaching it to my space station that you see here, so that my space station will have viewing ports, so that my space station will have some places that you can look out the windows. So that's my station. You can see through the cockpit or through the cupola as we're driving it, flying it into position. That's my space station. I'm really proud of my space station. I'm kind of happy this video it lets me show some of the stuff in .20, but it also gives me an excuse to show off my badass space station and my badass Minmus colony and stuff like that. So that's cool. Here we go, trying to dock the new component to the space station. And it's docking is still the hardest thing for me in Kerbal Space Program. Docking is tricky. And I'm running all of this whole video I'm running in 4 times speed. Everything's going 4 times faster than it did in real life. The interesting thing about the space station is there's so much crap on it now that when I get near it, the game just goes slow as molasses. The frame rate just drops to almost nothing. So that's why I'm done. That's why this is the final component of the space station. I would love to keep adding to it and making it even bigger, but it just makes everything so slow and laggy that if it gets any bigger, if it gets any slower because I put more parts on it, it's going to be unusable. The whole point of the space station is that spaceships can dock with it and take on extra personnel for bigger ships or refuel. And so if it gets too slow and laggy that I don't want to dock anything with it, then it'll have defeated its whole purpose. Of course, part of its purpose is just to look cool and look at that. Hello, it looks awesome. But the other purpose is actually so that ships can dock with it, and if it gets any laggier, that I just won't do it because it's gotten really slow and herky jerky. And there's probably lots of little doodads and things I put on that I could have not put on, and that would probably have improved its performance. But oh well. So here I'm flying somebody out to put him in one of the cupolas that I just added to the space station. But of course, this is a chance for him to just float around with his jetpack and examine the space station and kind of show it off to you, the audience. Of course, I've figured out how to do my own custom textures. So I've retextured that big ass gas tank. That was one of the big orange fuel tanks. And I didn't change anything except the texture. So the model's the same, the stats are the same, but it has a Gadget Hovel logo on it now, which I think is cool. Now there's a spaceship on the top part of this screen that's docked with the station, and I'm going to zoom into the cockpit of that spaceship. And this is from inside the cockpit of that spaceship, and you can see my little Kerbal outside the spaceship, but just kind of standing on the space station. I really enjoy that. I'm really loving getting in these cockpits and looking at my space stations or planets or stuff from inside the cockpit. It just looks really awesome. So there is just some debris floating around left over from the spaceships that deliver these components. All of these components on the space station were flown up by a spaceship and then very carefully docked to it, which tends to leave some debris laying around in orbit from the spaceships that brought the pieces here, and then flew away. So here we're finally, as soon as we regain consciousness, kind of bumped our head there. Still not great at controlling the EVAs. But as soon as, there we go. I'm going to fly him back, and I'm going to have him get inside the cupola, and we'll get our first real good look through the giant bay windows of my beautiful space station. Perhaps we can see Kerbin below, and maybe look at the sun from this peaceful, serene, tranquil, giant windowed viewing area. The crowning achievement of my space station. The beautiful jewel. And as soon as he tries to get in, for no reason, it explodes. Kaboom! Blew apart the cupola, blew apart the Gadget Hovel logoed gas tank. The whole thing just detonated. So I reloaded from a previous save spot. There, it's possible that there are factions on planet Kerbin. And here we had another, and there, it just exploded again. I was detaching the engines that had delivered the cupola, and the station just explodes for no reason. So loaded from my last save spot again. I'm going to try it again. I suspect that the same problem with the space station that's causing the game to get slow and laggy when I'm near it. And it may not look slow and laggy, but that's only because I've accelerated the playback. The video is playing back at 4 times regular speed. Trust me. At regular speed, it's totally slow and herky-jerky. Anyway, I expect that just because I have so many parts here now all hooked together, but that's what's causing it to be slow and laggy, and I think that's what's causing it to be unstable and to randomly explode as well. And that's probably partly like bugs in the game, and it's probably partly that the game wasn't really designed to handle this many pieces all together in one place. So, and that's sad because I like the idea of building big things with lots of pieces. But anyway, so here a guy finally did get inside. This is the cupola. He finally got inside the cupola without the station exploding. And it's got a pretty neat interior. There's all these little post-it notes and stuff. I can't quite read them. I don't think I was supposed to, but it's funny and cute, like a lot of the stuff in the Kerbals universe. We might have terrorists on planet Kerbin who are opposed to my space program, to my efforts in space. Maybe they're sabotaging the space station. I'm quick to blame the game not being able to handle this many components. The game engine can't handle this many pieces in one place. But I should not, without really doing a proper investigation, could be terrorism. We don't know. We don't know what's destroying the Gadget Hubble space station. But anyway, here we go. I had lowered all these solar panels thinking it might improve performance, but obviously it did not improve performance, and obviously it did not stop things from spontaneously exploding either. So now this is my completed and fully operational space station, not a battle station, but space station. Solar panels deployed, and a lot of these solar panels are just for decoration because it honestly doesn't need that many solar panels to power it. Although when I thought it was going to get bigger than this, there was a chance that it might have eventually needed that much power, that much solar power. But anyway, there we go. Thanks for watching, guys.